Good morning, second graders. So according to our schedule, you should be watching this on Tuesday, March 31st, but this is today's language arts lesson. We're going to be talking about story elements today, and we have been talking about story elements all year, so hopefully this is a review, something you should be able to do at home. If you do not have books to do this with at home, if you get onto YouTube and you search for a favorite kids book that, I or Miss Clothier or Miss Clapp have read to you, there is more than likely somebody on there that will read the book to you. I'm going to do a book today for you that you can also use. There is also the option of going on to Storyline online, and I believe it's .net. If you put it into Google, my kids especially will know what that is. That's the one where, the celebrities read the books to you guys. My kids really like A Tale of Two Squirrels, but there's all different ones on there. So you should be able to use the story elements with that. So just a quick review. Story elements are characters, setting, problem, and solution. So let's review what those are. Characters are who is doing the action. So remember, that can be people in the story, it can be talking animals, it could be talking things like we've talked about before in Disney stories, it could be like talking cars, it could be talking pencil, anybody in the story that's doing the action. Setting. Where and when does the story take place? So settings, remember some things about it, settings can change just like our setting changes in the real world. Settings change in the story. You might be home at one point in the story. They might be at school on the next. They might be on a bus. Settings will change in the story. So that's where and when the story takes place. Problem. What does the character want, need, or think but can't get? That's usually where something is going wrong in the story. So what does the character want, need, or think but can't get? And then the solution. Solution is how does the character get what they want or need, or how does their thinking change? So that is when the problem gets solved. Usually stories will end happily. Typically in fiction, books will end with a solution. Now we've talked about during the year, not all books end with solutions. Majority will. Today I'm going to do a review with story elements. So I put all 4 story elements on a piece of paper. We use this in class all the time. When you go to do this for yourself at home, I'll show you how to do it on a plain piece of paper just by folding it into 4s and then setting it up for yourself. But for me today with the story elements, I'm going to complete it on the graphic organizer I have. And if you watched my read aloud from yesterday on Chrysanthemum, that's what I'm going to do my character, setting, problem, and solution with. So I'm going to try to do this with a marker so you guys can actually see it at home. But the characters in Chrysanthemum, obviously we're going to put Chrysanthemum. So when you go to write your characters, you can actually just list them. They don't have to be in a sentence who the characters were. So I just added Chrysanthemum on. You'll see under the characters box, added Chrysanthemum. Other characters in the story, I know you guys would all scream Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad were in there. So I'm going to put Mom/Dad as one of my characters. When she went to school, there were several kids that they kept referring back to. I know there was Joe. There was Victoria. She was the one that was being the bully in the story. Let's see. And because if you forget, you just go back to the story and flip through. So I'm just flipping back through to see what other characters there are. So we said Victoria. Let's see who else. I was looking for that other little one's name and I can't remember. Oh, Rita. And then her teacher at the end, who ended up naming her daughter Mrs. Chrysanthemum, was Mrs. Twinkle. So I just listed all my characters quickly, just with little dashes next to them, went straight down. Chrysanthemum, Mom and Dad, Joe, Victoria, Rita, and Mrs. Twinkle. The settings in the story, just like in real life, the settings changed. So the story started off at home in Chrysanthemum's room, if you remember. So I'm going to put Chrysanthemum's house. Chrysanthemum's house. And again, here you can just list. I'm literally listing them on the piece of paper. Chrysanthemum's house under the setting box. Now, I also know they were at school. A lot of things happened at school. So I'm going to list school. I know a lot of you all would say outside because she was outside walking to school a lot. So we will list outside as another location that she was. I think that might be it for settings. Home, school, and outside. Oh, we could also say Chrysanthemum's backyard. That looks like another place. So we can say the backyard. Okay, so just like characters, I listed. So for the settings box, oops, is that the right one? I'm doing it backward, guys, so it's kind of hard to say. Chrysanthemum's house, school, what else do we say? Outside, and the backyard. So they're just listed. For the problem is what went wrong in the story. So what does the character want, need, or think but can't get? Chrysanthemum did not like her name. Remember, the kids at school were bothering her about it. She wanted to change her name. So I'm going to put Chrysanthemum. Now this one probably should put in a sentence. So Chrysanthemum wanted to change her name because her classmates were making fun of it. Her classmates were making fun of it. So much better when you guys can see this on the Elmo at school. So there it is. I just wrote it out. Capital letter in the front, period on the end. That Chrysanthemum wanted to change her name because her classmates were making fun of it. Solution. How does the character get what they want or need, or how does her thinking change? So Chrysanthemum's thinking changed in the story yesterday. Excuse me. Mrs. Twinkle ended up naming her daughter Chrysanthemum. So the other kids learned that it was a beautiful name and also wanted to be named after flowers. I'm sorry, guys. Allergy season has started and it is real. Chrysanthemum learned to love her name after Mrs. Twinkle named her baby daughter after her. And then all the kids in the class wanted her name too. So I'm going to put Chrysanthemum learned to love her name after Mrs. Twinkle named her baby daughter after her. So then I filled in my story elements. So at home, I realize you're not going to have access to this thing, but you can take a piece of paper and you would literally fold it down. So you have two pieces, fold it down again. I'm using an old piece of scrap paper so that when you open it up, you would have 4 squares. And I'll draw, my marker's going on me, but Mrs. Lynn will get new markers for this next lesson that we do. But if you draw lines down it, you'll have 4 places. Now, you can either go back to the beginning of this video and copy down the spellings, or you can put a C for characters, an S for settings, a P for problems, maybe an SO for solution, because that would be another S, that way you're not getting confused. But I'll put them up real quick if you want to pause so that you can spell characters. You put that in the first box. It's where you would list the characters. Let me find settings. Settings, if you want to pause again so you can copy settings. And again, remember, setting is where the story takes place, where and when the story happens. Then the P for problem, or you could pause this and copy problem. What the character wants, needs, or thinks but can't get. And then solution, again, you could pause here to copy solution, or you could just put an SO for solution so you're not getting it confused with settings. Solution is how does the character get what they want or need, or how does their thinking change. So you can do this at home with the story I'm about to read you, and you would just list the characters, you would list the settings, you in a complete sentence would tell me what the problem was, and then solution, complete sentence, what the solution was. So I'm going to read you a story that I think most of you are going to be familiar with from when we did fairy tales, The Little Red Hen. So I'm going to read you this story now. As I read you the book, I'll show you the pictures the best I can here. I know I realize, again, we're working with limited technology, but you'll get the gist. When I'm done with this, you can use this story to go do the character setting, problem, solution, practice story elements with it. Or like I said, you can get on if there is a story you missed from school that you liked that we read to you. Go on YouTube. More than likely there is an adult reading the book on there. Or you can get onto, like I said, Google Storyline online. And that's the one with the Screen Actors Guild where the different celebrities will read books to you. And it has the words underneath so you can pause and read it to yourself. Or you can have this celebrity read it to you and then you can go do story elements with this. You get bored during the week after this lesson, keep practicing and it's not going to hurt you to keep practicing it. Okay, The Little Red Hen. We will do the best again we can with this. All right. fairy tales. Let me try we'll do this again, and then I'll try to show you the picture up close after I read it. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a little red hen who shared her tiny cottage with a goose, a cat, and a dog. And remember, a cottage is like a little house. Sounding like we have some settings and already some characters. The goose was a gossip. She chatted with her neighbors all day long. Oh, she likes to talk. Now, I see other characters on this page, but remember, if they're not really a talking character, probably not going to list them. They're like supporting characters. The cat was very vain. She brushed her hair. She straightened out her whiskers, and she polished her claws all day long. The dog was always sleepy. He napped on the front porch swing all day long. Getting better at this camera. The little red hen ended up doing all of the work around the house. She cooked, she cleaned, she washed the clothes. She took out the trash, she mowed the lawn, she raked the leaves, she even did all of the shopping. Very busy. Sounds like Mrs. Lynn this week. One morning on her way to the market, the little red hen found a few grains of wheat. She put them in her pocket in her apron. I'm trying to get this in there so you guys can see it. Remember, wheat is a plant that you grow that when it's dried and ground down, you can make into flour that you would use for baking that white powdery stuff that you would use to make bread and cake. When she got home, she asked her friends, "Who will help me plant these grains of wheat?" "Not I," said the goose. "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. Lazy, lazy. "Then I will plant them myself," said the little red hen, and she did. When the grains of wheat began to sprout, the little red hen cried, "Look at the wheat I planted. It's coming up. Who will help me take care of it this summer?" "Not I," said the goose. "Not I," said the cat. And "not I," said the dog. "Then I will take care of it myself," said the little red hen, and she did. All summer long, she cared for the growing wheat. She made sure that it got enough water, and she hoed the weeds out carefully between each row. Remember, weeds are not good. It's almost like the dandelions that come up in summertime. They suck all the water away from the plants, and they don't leave enough water for your good vegetables. By the end of the summer, the wheat had grown very tall, and when it turned from green to gold, she asked her friends, "Who will help me cut and thresh this wheat?" "Not I," said the goose. "Not I," said the cat. And "not I," said the dog. "Then I will cut and thresh it myself," said the little red hen, and she did. When all the wheat had been cut and threshed, the little red hen scooped the wheat into a wheelbarrow and said, "This wheat must be ground into flour. Who will help me take it to the mill?" "Not I," said the goose. "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. The mill is where you would go to grind down the plant into the powdery flour that we use for baking. "Then I will take it myself," said the little red hen, and she did. The miller ground the wheat into flour and put it into a bag for the little red hen. And there's a little picture of the mill up here with its water wheel. Then all by herself, she pushed the bag home in the wheelbarrow. And there she is on her way back home. Sounding like some characters and some settings are changing. Also sounds like we've had a few problems. One cool fall morning, not many days later, the little red hen got up early and said, "Today would be a perfect day to make some bread. Who will help me bake a loaf of bread with the flour I brought from the mill?" Wonder who's going to help her. It's not sounding promising, is it? "Not I," said the goose. "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. They're all still trying to go back to sleep. Bet they're going to want that bread when it's made. "Then I will bake the bread myself," said the little red hen, and she did. She mixed the flour with the milk and the eggs and the butter and salt. She kneaded the dough. When you knead the dough, that's when you push it and keep pushing it in to mix the ingredients together, and it helps make it rise. She shaped it into a nice plump loaf, and then she put the loaf in the oven and watched it as it baked. She is watching the oven, make sure it doesn't burn. The smell of the baking bread soon filled the air. It smelled so delicious that the goose stopped chatting, the cat stopped brushing, and the dog stopped napping. You can all smell that bread coming from the oven. What do you think's gonna happen? I miss talking to you guys. I like when you yell out at me what's happening. One by one, they came into the kitchen, looking kind of hungry. When the little red hen took the freshly baked loaf of bread out of the oven, she said, "Who will help me eat this bread?" "Oh, I will," said the goose. "I will," said the cat. "And I will," said the dog. Of course, now they want to eat. I wonder if she'll share. Sages are stuck. "You will," said the little red hen. "Who planted the wheat and took care of it?" "I did." "Who cut the wheat? Who threshed it and brought it to the mill?" "I did." So she's reminding them of all the work she had already done without them. And she had asked them to help all along, hadn't she? "Who brought the flour home and baked this loaf of bread?" "I did." "I did it all by myself, and now I'm going to eat it all by myself." Well, serves them right. And that is exactly what she did. And there she is eating her nice little bread. All right, my darlings. So here is what you are going to do. You're going to take a piece of paper. You're going to fold it in fours like we said. You're going to you can go back to where I held up the pieces of paper for character, setting, problem, solution. You can put a C for characters, an S for settings, a P for problem, an SO for solution, so you don't get the setting and solution confused. Fill it out. If you do not want to do the little red hen today, and I will hold it up so you could copy the title if you want to put it on your piece of paper so you remember what it was about, then you can go on, like I said, and search YouTube, or you can go on and Google Storyline Online. I believe it's storylineonline.net. Could be wrong about the .net part. And that's where the Screen Actors Guild is reading the books with the actors to you. So totally up to you. But I would like you to practice story elements this week. Do it as much as you can. And I will see you next week for our next language arts lesson. Miss you all. Please be good. Stay healthy. See you soon. Love you. Bye.